Well, I said I wasn't going to do it again, but let me slow down if I can. This is Larry Flynn. I show it because I did a book, Medical Malpractice in Marietta, Georgia, unpublished because they almost killed me April Fool's Day of 80. And that's what this has been to the Americans and to part of my family, the Windsors, an April Fool joke. Larry Flint was shot. I was living at Moonraker in Marietta doing the book. He was shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia. And I don't know, it's about 60 miles from Marietta. That was a mind control, a programmed shooter. And so the shooter's a victim too. But anyway, Flint was shot March the 6th of 78. Now I'm going to fast forward. I wrote about Larry McDonald, congressman, physician from Piedmont Hospital, where the Gene Strokerman, who was working for psychiatrist Hardiman, was gunned down when she was suing another psychiatrist, Cohen, I believe was his last name. And I got some of the files from my attorney, Eugene Kaiser, a former Fulton County DA, who's one of the honest people, thank God, in this whole mess. But anyway, maybe I have made sense here to you. It's about mind control murders, which the Virginia Tech, there's a whole list of them that goes back to the Sandy Hook, but there's a lot of the murders been done here in Virginia that are mind control. And that's what I wanted to get to here. I'm allergic to chemicals. My immune system shuts down, and I get really sick. I should be able to live a normal life, okay? But not when it's deliberately done. I've been deliberately kept homeless, deliberately forced to inhale toxic fumes. Over the years, the quality of life is hell, first of all. But my body it causes mass inflammation. It affects your kidneys, your lungs. Can you imagine having to inhale this mess, trying to cover your head up, trying to do anything to get away from it? And know what it's doing to your body, that it's making you cripple, that it's taking your organs out, and they make me run. That's what the Virginia State Trooper Carl Barton's wife said. This is how we run you. Now then, I don't think they're necessarily the bad guys. I think the Bartons did that deliberately. I don't know, because some of the Virginia State Troopers helped save my life. I'm sure of that, okay? I'm Victoria II. My father's Edward VIII. Married to Claudia Ruth O'Keefe Windsor. He never married Wallace Simpson. She married a double. My own uncle helped sell me out, and his brother. Here he is with Roosevelt planning my kidnapping in 1939. These are Freemasons. You can call them what you want to. Freemasons, Illuminati, Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Bilderbergers. Joe Kennedy was appointed ambassador to England during that time, 36 till they kicked him out in 45. They helped in my kidnapping. His son JFK and the older son actually flew into the embassy and stayed there during the years before and after I was kidnapped and brought to Moulton, Alabama, dropped off, given the name of a twin, Peggy Ann Dempsey. I married to Childers. Both twins, Peggy and Carl, had been killed by Lina, their mother, born out of wedlock. And that was a hellhole. It was a pigsty where they dropped me off and assumed that I'd never make my way back to Buckingham Palace. Well, I haven't made it there. She's in it. She's given away everything, and everybody thinks she is, I could say the words and then you get mad at me for saying the word. Nothing touches it. I wanted to get into this, though. I'm run to the forest when it's so bad here. And if I've left and been forced to come back to Roanoke, same thing happened, only I'm on the side of the road. Now then, the forestry was so a part of this, they'd lock me up and run me. People would say, are you running from the law? And it's been a joke to them. But I told about mind control murders, And this is when they were told the Forestry to come and run me and lock me up and everything. 3/6 of 94. Well, the 3 and the 6 is March the 6th when Larry Flint was shot. Okay, there's some other things here that I'm not going to show that were done pattern that the National Forest was in on. I mean, you should see it. What I wanted to say, though, Eric Smith, and I can name some more, into court. The press won't print it. Their family. That's what I'm told. They don't tell about the mind control murders. And if this sounds like I'm rushing, I cannot do another. I'm just not going to today. I merely got out and walked across, and I can hardly walk out my front door to the mailbox to mail a letter. Come back, and this sorry sot, and I won't get into what he did about my phone and helping give my little pink phone. They came right. I was in the room next to him. This is a year ago, about almost a year ago. Well, it was in January. Yeah, this year. So I was next door to him, and he came in and took my phone, my little pink phone, and Angela Queen, get her name Queen? That's part of the mess. Ends up with that phone, and then on the day before Easter in March, on a Saturday, she came over to where I was living. Then I had moved, and I won't get into it. She got a hold of my phone, and she made a mess out of my videos, and the few pictures I have of my family, I've been robbed of everything. She deleted everything, messed it up. I've just now got this back, and I'm bouncing around. And I know how that sounds, but anyway, I've been run, and I wanted to get into, and now that I'm forgetting if I'm even mentioning these, I've done 3, and I go over it, I'm going to have to delete them because they won't go up. Now then, I want to get into this. I've been run from place to place. I've been gotten HUD, and the last HUD I got, place to live, I don't have any money hardly. That's the only way I could live halfway decent, if you call that decent, was out at Clifton Forge. And I have to say that if they hadn't deliberately sabotaged that, I tried to stay everything I could do, and I would have died, and nobody's going to do about it. It's Scott Hill. They've used the name of my sons Scott and Mark in murders, like Gabby Gifford, the U.S. Congresswoman, married Scott Kelly, a twin to, well, she married Mark Kelly, a twin to Scott Kelly. Twins is where they put me in Moulton, Alabama, when they kidnapped me and gave me the name of a dead twin, Peggy Ann Dempsey. I married Childers. So now, if I'm jumping around, that's it. Scott Hill, and I could go on where I've lived and the places I've been, and you know, it's patterns that, by the way, Sandy Hook shooting, James Holmes, the Aurora, Colorado Grand Theater, where they're treating the poor man for mental illness, that's torturing him, a non-existent illness, just like John Hinckley. His is, quote, in remission. For God's sake, they stopped programming him. They could start back at any minute. These are programmed people who are suffering, and people blaming them for the crimes. Now then, real quick. Last May, I was run again. I can hardly walk. I went back out to N.Creek. It's in the Jefferson National Forest. And it's got 16 lots by a creek. It should be nice. It's way back there. When I've gone out there in the past, it's running me from one place to the other, and I get soaked with fumes. This is illegal, all of it. It's assault with intent. I have run to N.Creek and gotten, or in the Forestry, by the way. I've lived out there in the past and pulled my few things and frozen and starved and everything in the book. While I don't know if I showed this, I've done so many I'm having to go over. This is Eric Smith. He was told on March the 6th of 94 to come out and give me a ticket. And March the 6th is when Larry Flint was shot. Of course, that was in 78, but you get the gist of it. The Mark and Scott and the Lawrence County, Alabama's where they took me, and the Larry and the Lawrence McDonald doctor. Plane goes down, Larry Flint or Lawrence Flint. By the way, his first wife was named Peggy. I didn't know that. And Larry Flint was one of the people who tried to help me. Let me say that, when the rest of them wouldn't. Now then, I went to the forest the last 2 years, and what they did to me, last year they brought in somebody that had a couple that had this beautiful mobile home. Usually the host that they get down there is from local, and they just bring in a normal or small trailer to live in. So these people last year had this great big beautiful one, air conditioned, everything. You wouldn't believe it. Found out, well, they did the same thing to me. They soaked me with formaldehyde, burn it, and then get in their tents, and they're okay. And people have gone along with it around here. Believe me, it would be a sight to show how sick it all is. But anyway, the same mess happened to me then. I'm going to skip to this time. Last year, though, I'll say this. I was run out to the Appalachian Trail, again pulling my tent and belongings, and can't hardly walk. And they've actually followed me. The people there, this is where I had lived for a long time up on the trail, and they live on Mountain Pass Road, these people did. And they actually followed me as I pulled my stuff up there day after day for about 5 days, I think. And they soaked me, which is illegal to burn it. And they would follow me and burn it and make me so sick. I fell, busted my rotaries in my shoulder, and God knows what else. Now then, I'm going to fast forward to this year. I went out to N.Creek, and now then, in N.Creek, it was 1st of May, I believe, and should be nice. It's got the creek and everything. 16 lots, beautiful place, and you pay to stay there. So I'm paying wherever I go, apartment or a room I get, or to go out and camp at N.Creek to get soaked with chemicals is what happens. And somebody says, a lot of people will laugh at it, are you running from the law? So anyway, this year when I go out there, the couple live in this beautiful, beautiful air-conditioned, again, this different couple. Home on wheels is what it is. Now then, trusting them because they were sent down, and I'm giving the story told me, from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to be here for the summer, and they worked for the Forestry. They were even furnished a truck. So I felt safe when I first met them, and I'm going to have to hurry before this goes off. And I made the mistake of getting lot 16 right in front of them. They soaked me from nighttime till a.m., which is illegal to even do any of this. They, the hosts that worked for the Forestry, soaked me. I was dehydrated, crawling around in my tent, sick for days, and fell again and busted my left arm. And it's broken. Anyway, now I want to say this before it goes off. This is the Shaws and the Patels. And this